Hi y'all, this is Notes 26. So we are today factoring out the greatest common factor. And you might have heard of this as the GCF. And it's really connected to distributing. So when we distributing, we are multiplying every term. And there are sometimes when we want to undistribute or we want to take that number back out. So if we're undistributing, it's called the word factor. Right, so that might be our new word for today. When we factor or undistribute, we are dividing each term. So we're taking out something in common. So I'll write that here. Taking out something in common. Okay, so we're going to look to see what's in common between the numbers that they have. So step 1 says find a variable or number that divides evenly into every term. So I'm going to look at this term here, and I look at those two terms, and I see that there's 16 and an 8. So a number I know that goes into 16 and 8 is the number 4. So I'm going to divide the 4 out, and I would do 16 divided by 4, leaves me with 4. The x squared stays the same, plus 8 divided by 4 would be 2, and the x stays there. And I noticed that I wrote an x both times. So that means that they have an x in common. The first one has 2 x's, and the second one only has 1. So I can only take out 1 because they only have 1 in common. So I would say that I have 4 left over, and then I had x squared, 2 x's, and I'm dividing by 1. So 1 is in common, and they leave me with 1 inside, plus 2. So x divided by x would just be 1. I'm not going to write that. And then as I'm going, I realize I can take another 2 out. So I'm going to factor out the number 2. And I have 4 divided by 2 would be 2x plus, and 2 divided by 2 is 1. I'm going to repeat steps 1 and 2 so that I'm going to keep taking things out until there are no remaining factors. So there's nothing else in common between 2x and 1. And whatever is on the outside is the GCF. So these numbers out here are the GCF. So I'm going to put that on the outside. So 4 times 2 is 8. And they also have an x. That x is on the outside. That's the GCF. And then what's left over goes on the inside. I would have 2x plus 1. Just like that. And then I'm always going to check my work. So if I end up with this as my answer, I know that it's just the opposite of distributing. So I'm going to distribute when I'm going backwards. So I would say, okay, 8x times 2x would be 16x squared, and 8 times 1 would be 8x, like that. And if I get the same thing as I got up here, then I know that this is correct, and I know that this is my final answer here. All right, so that's my final answer. So I'm just trying to take things out. So I'm like undistributing. I'm kind of undoing a distribution problem. Okay, so if I have a bigger version here, something like this, I'm just going to try to see what I can take out. So I'm going to look here. I'm going to say, okay, I see a y here, or 3 y's there. I see 2 y's here. I see 1 y here, but I don't see any y's there, right? So because there's nothing there, I can't take any y's out. So I'm going to have to back up here and look at my numbers. I see a 15, an 18, a 3, and a 6. And I know what they have in common is a 3. So I can take a 3 out of there. So I'm going to have negative 15 divided by 3 would be negative 5, y to the third, plus 18 divided by 3 is 6, y squared. 3 divided by 3 is positive 1, y. And negative 6 divided by 3 is negative 2, like that. I already checked the y's. There aren't enough y's. And when I'm looking now, negative 5, 6, 1, and 2, those don't have anything left over in common. So I know that what I have here is my GCF, the 3. Then I have negative 5, y cubed, plus 6, y squared, plus y minus 2. All of this is going to go inside there. So I think that that's my answer. I'm going to double check here by distributing. So I'm going to check with a different color. 3 times negative 5, negative 15, y to the third. 3 times 6 is 18y squared. 3 times y is 3y. 3 times negative 2 would be negative 6. Double check that that's what I started with, and I find that, yeah, this is my answer right here. And so I'm just trying to take things out. You're going to take a look at the back of your paper. This is your orange paper, so the back of the orange paper, and go ahead and try these practice ones. You can check Canvas for the answers. Canvas has the answers up. Canvas has the answers. But if you're needing help getting started, don't forget you're looking for something in common. So I know both of these are divisible by 6. Hopefully that gives you a good hint, and you guys can do it on your own. Ask questions. Thanks, y'all.